The friendship circle often narrows gradually in midlife, yet many Gen X adults treat each disappearance as something requiring no explanation. A birthday passes without the old group meeting, then another name quietly disappears from the Christmas card list or phone favorites. If this feels ordinary rather than dramatic, that may be exactly why the loss can remain invisible for years. Friendships rarely need a final argument to end. Sometimes calendars, distance, exhaustion, and unspoken assumptions simply do the separating. Many Gen X adults built early friendships before group chats. Constant updates and effortless digital maintenance became everyday expectations. That older rhythm could make friendship feel durable without frequent reassurance. But durability can also disguise when a bond is actually fading. School friends once lived a bike ride away, while neighbors, cousins, teammates, and coworkers created repeated contact without anyone scheduling it. Later, jobs change, people move, children arrive, parents need care, and the accidental encounters that protected friendship become less common. Midlife can turn a simple coffee into 3 calendars, 2 commutes, a family obligation, and a promise to try again next month. Because nobody has fallen out. The canceled plan rarely feels like an ending. It feels temporary, reasonable, and easy to postpone. For adults accustomed to privacy and self-sufficiency, saying "I miss you" can feel heavier than sending another practical message about arrangements. So the friendship survives in memory and goodwill, even while the shared routines that once made it real slowly disappear. One adaptation is to lower the maintenance requirement. Good friends are assumed to remain good friends without constant proof or explanation. That assumption can be generous, especially when both people understand silence as trust rather than rejection or declining interest. Problems begin when neither person notices that loyalty alone cannot create new conversations, shared experiences, or a place in each other's week. A friend may still know your teenage stories perfectly while knowing almost nothing about the person you have become in midlife, because the bond carries history. Reaching out can feel unnecessary until a crisis exposes how few people are actually close enough to call. Then the old strength of needing little from friendship can reveal its hidden cost. Relationships may receive affection without receiving enough attention. Partners often become the default companion, while friendships are squeezed between work, household tasks, parenting, caregiving, and the need for recovery. When a marriage ends, a child leaves home, or retirement approaches, the missing social circle can suddenly become much easier to see. Younger relatives may interpret long silence as disinterest, while some Gen X adults read the same silence as respectful space. Both readings can make sense, yet the mismatch matters when nobody says what contact, closeness, or friendship now requires. Technology complicates the picture. Seeing someone's updates can create a feeling of connection without the vulnerability of actually starting a conversation. A reaction emoji says, "I saw you." It does not automatically rebuild the hour-long conversation that once happened across a kitchen table. None of this means Gen X is uniquely bad at friendship, or that every shrinking circle represents loneliness or failure. Age, health, geography, work, personality, family demands, and choice all shape which relationships remain available and which naturally recede. The deeper contradiction is that accepting low-maintenance friendship can protect autonomy while also making genuine losses surprisingly difficult to recognize. When a generation learns that friendship can survive silence, the lesson can remain useful for decades. It protects people from demanding constant reassurance and allows affection to coexist with busy lives, long distances, and changing responsibilities. Yet midlife alters the environment that once supported those bonds. The school corridor, shared shift, local pub, weekend team, or neighbor's doorstep may no longer provide repeated contact. Without those structures, friendship increasingly depends on deliberate acts, making the call, choosing the date, asking the second question, admitting that someone's absence matters. The hidden cost appears gradually because there is rarely a single moment of loss. Instead, a social world can become smaller through dozens of reasonable decisions, each too minor to feel like a goodbye. No one announces that the network has changed. Picture the contact list after a difficult week. Plenty of familiar names, but only a few people you would actually ring without rehearsing the reason. That gap can be painful because the old friendships are not necessarily broken. They may still contain loyalty, humor, shared history, and genuine affection. What has weakened is access, the habit of being present in one another's current lives. Rebuilding that access can feel awkward because it asks someone who values independence to acknowledge need, risk an unanswered invitation, or discover that the other person has changed too. Partners and family members may also misread the quietness, assuming fewer friends means less desire for friendship. Sometimes the desire remains intact. What has disappeared is the social machinery that once turned affection into regular contact. The absence can surface only when support is suddenly needed. Return to the friend whose name quietly vanished from the usual plans. The important question is not whether every old bond should be rescued, because some friendships end naturally and some circles shrink by choice. The question is whether silence has been mistaken for proof that nothing meaningful was lost. For Gen X adults who learn to give friends room, understanding this pattern can preserve the strength of low-demand loyalty without treating disappearance as inevitable. A message, a recurring coffee, or an honest admission that someone has been missed does not make the friendship needy. It makes the relationship visible again. Midlife often removes the structures that once kept people together automatically. When that happens, friendship may need to become intentional before the circle becomes smaller than anyone consciously chose. Choice begins with noticing the difference.